4 days. Right when you get to the point where you think you can get out and pick tomatoes and mow and do all sorts of stuff, the rain returns. This tells me fall is on the way. Let's get this challenge started today on day 21. Alright guys, so while we have the fire heating up on the mini charcoal / homemade rocket stovey underneath the covering deal outside, we're going to make homemade chili. Very simple, crazy, stupid, yay. Right now I'm going to whip up some chocolate chip cookies. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I'm going to be real honest with you. I've never made chocolate chip cookies with coconut oil. But I'm trying to go butterless where I can, when I can, so I can learn from it. So that's what you see right down in yonder, all that white stuff. That's 3/4 cup of heated coconut oil, because when it's at room temperature, you know, it's like a solid. So I took it outside while the fire was heating up and just held this old yucky pan over it. I need to get one of those little, have you seen those mini Lodge pans that basically are used for melting butter? Melting things. They have those. I did not get one and I'm kicking myself. So I'm going to be on the search for that as soon as this video comes to a conclusion, probably long before you ever even see it. So I'm telling you, you're going to want to have that. They're very inexpensive. They're like $5 or $7, $8 or something like that. And they're really useful for melting things, mini prep for things, you know, stuff like that. Butters and oils and things like that for baking and cooking, whatever. Guys, this is your standard deal in terms of chocolate chip cookies. Your oil, your butter, your fat. I always use butter. I ain't gonna lie to you. Always, always, always. Not going there. So I've got my coconut oil, 2 eggs, 3/4 cup of sugar, 3/4 cup of brown sugar, and a splash of vanilla. I'm trying to use very basic items here. Now, in terms of my chocolate that's coming up, you might want to consider having some chocolate on hand. I mean, I was looking at chocolate bars over here that I've got. I'll show in a second. They've got a 9-month shelf life. Chocolate chips, not so much. But if you stick them in the freezer and rotate them often and then don't use them until you have to, you can expand the life on that. So just throwing that out there, I'm telling you some sweets are important, okay? It may not be the kicker for you, but it may be the kicker for other people in your family and at your home during the situation. So I'm going to mix this up, and separately I'm just going to do my flour, my baking soda, and baking powder and baking soda and whatnot to mix in here. There's nothing crazy about this. It's pretty standard. I'm going to bake these up outside and see how they do. Honestly, when you have a sweet tooth going, and it may not be the best darn chocolate chip cookie you've ever had, but it sure beats nothing. Let's get mix up. Alright guys, this is one of those days where the weather is not cooperating with you. Just like in a crisis, nothing's going to be cooperating with you. Okay, you have to be flexible. So we brought my little mini smoker grill in underneath the covering here, and it heats up very fast. It doesn't require a lot of wood. It's kind of like a replacement of a rocket stove for me now. I am getting a rocket stove. I'm going to get a real deal rocket stove. That's on the list. We've talked about that. If we haven't, I'm telling you now. Okay, I'm going with chili. We're going to make some chili, people. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the ground beef that's already canned. I don't have to thaw anything out or do anything weird. I'm going to whip this up and let it cook on its own. And here's what I'm going to add. I'm going to add canned beans. So if you're canning this fall like I am, my main deals are my meats and my beans. That's just the bottom line. Okay? So that's what we're going to be doing. So black beans, red beans, ground beef, and then whatever you like to mix in for your chili, okay? Here's what I like to do. I like salt and pepper, a little bit of garlic, cumin, chili seasoning, and what? A splash of cinnamon. But I want to take your attention over to this, which is your canned salsa. Guys, when you make, this says hot. That's probably because I put a little, 2014. It's 2016. We're going crazy here. I put a little bit of jalapeno in that. I really encourage you to make generic mixes like this, because look here. I don't have to worry about peppers and onions and a little bit of spice or a little bit of kick or whatever. I've got it in a jar. A lot of times I make a generic, meaning it's not hot. I make things very generic and mild. So therefore, when I open them and cook with it, be it tomatoes, hot tomatoes, marinaras, salsas, things like that, if I want to make it a little something at that time, I add it when I'm cooking it. This gives me so much more flexibility. I really encourage you to make a lot of like marinaras and a lot of salsas. If you like a lot of, those type of bases, I mean, you can make vegetable soup, you can make just tomato soups, you can make obviously chili, you can make, all kinds of things just with a very basic deal like this, okay? So this is what I'm going to do. Here's my can opener. I did post that on my Facebook page. A lot of you guys have been really asking about this. This is what I pop my lids open with. And then also it's really good for just standard things you buy from the store. It's just a lift, because things can be really difficult to open. It lifts it up and then you just pop it off. So this is, I'll post a link to this in the bottom, okay? Really, I got this as a Christmas present in a gift basket probably, 10 years ago. 7, 8, 10 years ago. It's been a long time. A friend of the family gave it to us. So, all right, we're going to whip this up. The Dutch oven is heating up in chia, and we're making the cookies on the inside. So that's how crazy we're getting today. Rainstorms are moving through. We got a little break here. Hey, Mr. Peaches. Hey. What are you doing? Are you sitting in your throne? Hey, King of the Mountain. What are you doing? What you do? Huh? How you been? Huh? What you doing? Hey, stop that. You stop it. You don't want to do that, do you? You don't want to play the game. All right, let's get cooking, guys. Hey, old man, what are you doing? Say hi, Mr. Peaches. You gonna love on him. Be nice. Oh, Mr. Peaches, you're so sweet. Okay, take care of that old fella now. Nope, you done? Okay. All right, guys, so I went ahead and added 2.5 cups of flour, a heaping, a teaspoon or so of baking soda. I'm such a dork-o-matic. I told you baking powder would be involved in this. We all know there's no baking powder involved in this. Whew. Girl, get with it. And I mixed all this in and mixed it up. And I'm telling you, I haven't put the chocolate in yet, but I'm eating raw cookie dough. Isn't that the best part? Forget what they tell you not to do, right? I had my kid taste this. He has no idea. He goes, has a slight coconutty taste to it. That would be a yes. All right, so here's your deal. You can buy this Hershey's chocolate, and I can tell you in the bars, the expiration date is a year out. Okay? So having some of these on hand, plop them in your freezer, put them in the back of your pantry. You're going to eat, if you don't eat a pack of chocolate in a year, we're going to have a conversation, other than you being allergic. Okay, come on. Now, if you get these chocolate chips, I like the minis. I like little chocolate chips. Not so much. It's, where's the expiration on that? I've had this for quite some time, though. So, you need to look at that when you're buying it. It's not fair for me to give you the expiration on it in terms of day, because I'm telling you, this has been on my shelf in my pantry for months, because I like to just keep 1 or 2 on hand, because it's too much trouble to go somewhere if you're having a sweet tooth. So look that up, but I'm gonna be willing to bet that this is going to be longer. So you can chomp these up and make little bits, or you can be like me and use up older chocolate chips, whatever works for you. Just mix all this together, and like I did here, see, and you're gonna just fold in your chocolate chips. No big deal, people. No big deal. Butterless, we can do it. We don't like it sometimes, but we can do it. All right, guys, I simply opened up the ground beef. The fat, a lot of the fats come to the top, so I scooped that off, and I'm putting this in here. We're going to heat this back up, make sure it's going really good. And let this simmer. I like to pre-cook my meats, even if they're canned, for a little bit, to make sure there's, no Funky Town in there. We don't want to take you to Funky Town, right? That's the goal. And then we'll start adding everything else and get it to boil and simmer. All right, guys, everything's in there. The meat was cooked up. We plopped both sets of beans. We did our salsa. We added our chili seasoning and spices and cinnamon. Don't forget the cinnamon. All in there. We're going to mix it up, let it boil. We'll taste test it and see what else it needs, just like anything else. And this is how we roll. Were you singing Funky Town earlier? Did I take you back to roller skating in the early 80s, back to, I think I did. I thought so. Let's get cooking. All right, guys, I'm just going to tell you that this batter is not near as sticky as if it has butter in it. So it's really firm and really cool, and I have actually kneaded in with my own hands. I just mixed them in a little bit of spoon and just kneaded in, because you have to fold in the chocolate chip cookies. I just treated it like it was kind of like biscuit dough. So that worked really well. So we're trying to keep all the critters away here from all the things we have going. We have the chili. You should smell that. Oh my word. And I'm going to try this. We may flip and nay the cookies. I don't know. We're just going to, guys, it's trial and error, trial by fire. Burn it to learn it. That's all we're doing here. So we got enough cookie dough to go with, though. So if we burn the first batch, we'll just try something else from the second batch, right? Try again. All right, we're going to keep going. Just to let you know also, I didn't mention this at the forefront of the video. There is no day 20. Hey, I was out of town yesterday. Was gone longer than expected. I had planned to cook a dinner last night. When we got home, it was after 8 o'clock. It was pouring the rain, and the husband gets called into work. So, guys, life happens when you're... This is an experiment on our food storage, yes, but it's doing it during a normal time period of back to school, husband's working, mom is working, all of that. So an unplanned day of no filming. We're going to try to finish out the rest of the month. The cooking is not the problem. It's dealing with everything else. And sometimes things take you away from the homestead. So I went out of town yesterday for several hours. And by the time I got back, it just didn't work out. So I apologize for that. My boy had a scheduled... has a homeschool trip that was planned back in June, and I had to get him where he needed to go. So that's just how it works. So back to the cooking. Thank you for understanding, and we will move on. Aw, man. Pateira's not perfect. You gotta burn it to learn it. We're gonna lessen the fire. We're gonna put another trivet underneath it. We're gonna back it on up. We're gonna try it again, because that's how we do it. We're on trial 2 here. This was my burn it to learn it crowd right here. And that one ain't so burned it to learned it. That's still good. All right, guys, clearly another trivet. Let the fire back it on up a little bit. Once they start to poof and spread, that's when you got to flip them. I put the lid back on. I'm just letting them finish. These cookies are going to be just a hair gooey in the middle, but that's the way I like it. That is good. My husband, he was like, ooh, these are good. So this is going to be a hit, but you have to go through the phases of like I said, I'm just going to do a few at a time because I might burn some. So we got to leave some behind. So don't throw it all in there at one spread. You'll learn. It's just making me go through several batches so I learn exactly how to treat this on open fire. See? All right, we're going to take these bad boys off and go for another round. And the chili is ready to go. All right, guys. Time to chow down. You talk about fantastic. My husband just looked at this and said, can you imagine eating that in the middle of an ice storm? Oh, my goodness. Onions are in that, peppers, tomatoes, beans, ground beef, everything. Guys, this is our stuff for the most part. Things that are on hand, quick to have, things that have been on hand made, quick to have. It's all on purpose. There's our butterless, if you will, chocolate chip cookies. We're still cooking up some more over here. Woo! Gonna be flipping and nay-naying those here in just a minute. Delicious flavor. It's okay if you burn it. You got to figure it out. You got to burn it to learn it. I know I'm wearing that out, but really, guys, you got to try. You got to just do it. Can't, never, did, nothing. You just got to do it. Oh, lemonade. You've seen me do my Country Time lemonade. Something cool and a little bit of flavor there. I normally like cheese and, gosh, you could do cornbread with this if you've got homemade crackers with this. sour cream, if you can whip that up with your raw milk, just whatever you want to do. I'm just going for this because I'm concentrating on those. So I'm going to go ahead and eat. We appreciate you watching this video. Like and subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. We'll have more episodes coming your way. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on this very rainy episode of day 21 of the Food Storage Challenge. Let's eat. Flip the next batch. We're getting better and better. You just got to keep at it. Small batches and a lot of tenacity. Let's go. Oh, Mr. Peaches. I guess the chili's good. Uh-huh.